Once the decision to create Arkham City had been approved, Mayor Sharp ordered that Arkham Island be put up for sale. In a press conference, he claimed,
"This is a fantastic revenue opportunity for Gotham City!"
Although a number of prominent Gotham companies entered bids for the land, the winning bid came from a previously unknown security company named Tiger. Within weeks of the sale, Tiger was also awarded the contract to police Arkham City and instantly began using the island to launch its fleet of helicopter gunships to patrol the new prison facility.
So after each of these stories, we want to do a very brief analysis. This one's pretty straightforward. Obviously, Tiger is Hugo Strange's security force.
Right.
So they came in, pretty much purchased the land, so they own Arkham City. Hugo Strange, this is his private land now. It's essentially taking the place of the asylum. And we know that, too, from all the inmates being transferred from the asylum.
And talking about what Hugo did at said asylum, where he was just basically torturing them,
Yeah.
and doing his experiments.
So this is really just the origins of how they actually sold off Arkham Island and purchased the land that would become Arkham City.
Correct. Pretty straightforward.
In order to remove Waylon Jones, aka Killer Croc, from the sewers below Arkham Asylum, Strange ordered a squad of Tiger Guards to lure him out, using body parts from deceased inmates. Although the strategy proved unsuccessful, the team was able to subdue Croc when he emerged from the sewers, looking for food, once the supply of bodies had run out.
This really doesn't really change anything, I guess, from what happened with what we saw in the game, because he essentially just, escaped anyways, and we saw him after the Ra's al Ghul fight. So, they didn't really subdue him.
No, it was temporary.
Didn't last long. His lair was cool where he was trapped, but obviously, he just punched right through it.
No, so what I'm wondering is, speculation time here. Does he actually escape, or do they put him down in the sewers just because it's somewhere they can contain him?
Maybe, yeah.
We don't really know, because Killer Croc is obviously, they don't want him running around in the streets. And even in Arkham Asylum, his lair, his cell was down in the sewers.
Yeah.
That's where they kept him.
Right.
Because it fit who he was and, the environment he needed to survive. So it's very possible that Hugo Strange also put him in the Arkham City sewers, or just knew he was down there and allowed him to do his thing.
It could be, yeah. I don't know. We obviously got a lot more of him in Asylum than we did in City, but it's a nice little cameo, and it makes sense that he'd be over there, especially after, at the end of Asylum, you see him reaching up and grabbing Titan. He was one of the, alternate scenes at the end, kind of like an end credit scene in that game, so it makes sense that we saw him a little bit, but it's the same thing with Scarecrow. We didn't see Scarecrow at all, and then we barely saw the three guys that grabbed the Titan at the end of Asylum. So, between Bane, Killer Croc, and Scarecrow, there's not a whole lot going on there, so I don't know.
There's a lot of empty space between games.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if some of that is filled in by comics, because there are a couple of canon comic books to the Arkham series.
Definitely.
But there's also a lot of empty space still if you're just playing the games.
Upon becoming mayor, Quincy Sharp presented Gotham City with his plan to create a super prison in the north of the city, claiming that the site was selected because it contained extreme areas of social decay and neglect. When Bruce Wayne spoke out at the consultation committee hearing, the mayor pointed out that this location was where Wayne's parents had been murdered decades before. The council passed the motion to create Arkham City and set about issuing eminent domain seizures, allowing it to purchase all the land within the site's walls.
So again, we're back to sort of the origins of Arkham City. And we also see now that Bruce Wayne was speaking out against Arkham City before the beginning of the game. So not only at the beginning panel where he spoke out against the creation of it, he was actually at the whole hearing with the mayor and the city council to fight against this.
Well, I think it's interesting too because they point out that the mayor was like, you just don't want this there because that's where your parents died. And that's his oh, see, this isn't even really for the city's reasons. It's just because you don't want your family's dying place to be where Arkham City is what the mayor was essentially saying. And I'm curious if that was the point of the mayor, or if that was Hugo Strange kind of in his ear, like, hey, bring this up. Because he knows his identity. He knows who he is.
Yeah, that's true. He knows who he is the whole time.
So if he's just picking him apart and he's like, hey, Quincy, bring this up at the committee, because obviously this was Hugo's idea. So I wonder if that's what it was.
Well, and there's also the fact, too, that they're able to use eminent domain. And you know what eminent domain is in real life. It's where the government can come in and say, we need your land for the public good. And we give you whatever it's worth at the time and just buy it up. So if the market's crap, they just buy up your land for next to nothing. Since this is an area in extreme social decay and neglect, it's very likely this land was worth very little. And so the residents of Gotham would have just been pushed out of their homes and out of their businesses in the area that becomes Arkham City for next to nothing. So they probably got displaced pretty quickly. And it's very likely that some of them would have ended up not having anywhere to go, too.
And in Arkham City, potentially. Yeah. If they were like, that might have been some of the political prisoners that we saw, if you think about it, potentially, because we heard like a plumber and people like that, just like middle-class, hard-working American, well, I guess Americans, yeah. And it's essentially that, like, maybe they were speaking out against Arkham City because they got pushed off that land, so they ended up in there.
Yeah, because political prisoners are all just people that wronged Strange.
Yes.
Or maybe, and I feel like there's a little hints at this too. Maybe some of the people that, like Quincy Sharp was given kind of the idea that people who he was against could kind of be pushed aside as well with Arkham City.
Exactly.
But Quincy Sharp ends up in Arkham City, ironically.
Right.
So there's a lot of layers to this for being such a small story, especially when we know the rest of the story of Arkham City.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, this was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We plan to do more of these in the future, just reading through the stories and doing an brief analysis of them. Please subscribe for more. Let us know if you liked it, and leave a like down by the comments, but it's above them. And we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Dab on the haters. It doesn't matter who I am under the mask. What I do that defines me. Oh, sorry, Rachel. I farted.
Rachel, don't come back.
Rachel.
No.
Where's Rachel?
It was a below average crop dust, Rachel.
I told you if I reach out, we'd keep you safe, and I have found. It's me, Michael Caine.